Josh from 2000 here, and today again I'm back with another theory, or well, not another Star Wars theory. I'm here to expand on the theory I had with the hooded figure in Rogue One, but this time I'm going to be talking about the more likely possibilities. I mean, I heard a pretty good theory recently suggesting that maybe Starkiller was the inspiration for the Knights of Ren. And as you can see here, I picked. This is one of the concept arts for one of the Knight of Ren designs, and I've highlighted some of the stuff on the cyborg version of Starkiller, which is similar to the design on this Knight of Ren. I mean, you got the shoulder pad here, and the helmet. The helmet looks quite similar with the mouthpiece and the kind of T-style visor and the thing going over the top here. So it's pretty similar in terms of the design. So I'm just thinking, maybe he was like either the founder or something they took inspiration from, just a neat little tip of the hat like that. Now the other theory that I came up with a few weeks ago, and I'm actually pretty happy with. Star Wars Rebels? Oh wait, no, wait, yeah. And also, yeah, by the way, before I forget, there was that theory in the other video I did about Kylo kind of being mentored by Starkiller, because again, I, as well a number of people, don't think Kylo, I, as a number of people, don't believe Snoke is a Sith user. I'm not the only one who doesn't believe Snoke is a dark side user, so yeah. Now, anyway, back to Rebels. I mentioned Rebels. Right, you're gonna see why there's. I apologize for the really crappy picture of Mary Jade Skywalker. I thought that was actually a half decent picture when I picked it, but it didn't come out very well on the PowerPoint. Now, Star Wars Rebels. You might be asking, why are you bringing up Star Wars Rebels? It's a kids show. It's flipping useless. And to be honest, the reason why I'm bringing it up is, firstly, we have the top guy here and the bottom guy here. Now let's talk about this, okay? Let's talk. The up above here is the Grand Inquisitor, who was kind of like the main Jedi hunter in the first season of Star Wars Rebels. Now, not everybody may know, is in the Jedi Outcast or the Dark Forces games, the Inquisitors were actually enemies in that, going after Kar-Katarn. So they were something brought in from the Legends canon and changed and evolved. Now, the reason why I got Jade Skywalker up here, as well as Starkiller and Juno, is because I'm thinking, why not kill two birds with one stone? Bring back Jade Skywalker and Starkiller as hands of the Emperor, instead of just one being a secret apprentice of Vader and the other being a hand of the Emperor. Just bring them both back as hands of the Emperor, because Starkiller is sure as hell powerful enough to be that status. One of the Emperor's assassins. He's surely powerful enough, and if they went with the cyborg version, he'd definitely fit the bill, because the cyborg version is actually Sidious's apprentice, as he kills Vader in that version of DLC. Now, the reason why I got the picture Kar-Katarn here, no, not Kar-Katarn, god damn it, Kanan Jarrus, which is here. The reason why I'm saying maybe Rebels instead of Rogue One or Episode 8 or 9 is because there's already been some nods to the Force Unleashed in Rebels. Kanan here, that mask, the reason why he's wearing that mask is because Darth Maul blinded him with a lightsaber in a similar sort of fashion to the way Starkiller did Coda in the final episode of Season 2. And also there's the backhand lightsaber stance that Kanan adopts, which is kind of also an homage to the way Starkiller fights with his reverse Shi'an grip. And another reason why I'm suggesting bringing these two back as villains, like Hands of the Emperor, is because they're a bit more interesting than the Inquisitors. I'm sorry, but the most interesting thing about the Inquisitors recently is what species are they? That's it. That's all anybody could ever talk about with these guys. Who are they? What species are they? And also, I'm just thinking, like, when a new Inquisitor steps up to Kanan and the others, and like, I with the Inquisitors. Sorry about that. I just had to short something. With the Inquisitors, when they walk up to Kanan or Ezra or any of the Ghost crew for that matter, and they draw the sabers, I don't think, oh my god, who's gonna die in this confrontation? What? I don't sit on the edge of my seat. I'm not excited. The first thing that comes into my head is, well, oh, there's another faceless goon of the Empire gone. Well, whereas if it was Mara Jade or Starkiller walking up to these guys and they draw blades, I'd be like, oh my god. I don't think the rebels are gonna get hit hard here. Like, or I might think, okay, how are they gonna turn this around? How are they gonna beat him? Or how are they gonna beat Mara? Or how are they gonna beat Mara Jade? And also, the reason why I say bring Mara Jade back is because there's all these theories flying around the internet that Rey is Anakin, not Anakin's, Luke's daughter. And I'm just thinking about, like, kind of got one problem with that. No wife or girlfriend. Now, in the comics and the expanded universe, or Legends canon as it's called now, Mara Jade was Luke's flame. But in the time of Rebels, she was one of the Emperor's assassins. So that's how that could tie in, and it could, like, help progress the story a bit. Now you might be saying, why have I got Juno up here? What has this character got to do with anything? To be honest, if they're gonna do that, they've got to. If they're bringing Starkiller back, they are gonna bring back Juno and Proxy and do the whole, like, the whole Force Unleashed thing. But to be honest, I think if they bring back Starkiller, bring Starkiller back as the character we know him as, but bring Juno or maybe even Coda back as something new, something different that we haven't seen before. Or attempt at doing something new with that character at least. I mean, like, Juno, to be honest, I was like, all I can find on Juno in terms of information is she's a Imperial pilot, which you can tell by her clothes. She's a female, you can tell by her looks, and that she's Starkiller's personal pilot. She falls in love with him, like, just that. All she is at the moment, in terms of Force Unleashed, is just a dull love interest. There's no interesting backstory. There's no... I mean, the most interesting bit for her character is when she turns around to Starkiller and says, like, you know what? Either you be truthful to me about what's going on here, or I'm going. Like, the bit where she stands up to him, gives him an ultimatum, that's the only bit where you see her personality shine through. Like, I'm like, a bit like... I don't care who you are. I'm not being pushed around by you. You could be Darth Vader yourself, but I'm not. You could be Darth Vader himself, but I'm not letting you push me around. Like, that's the most. That's pretty much the only insight we get into her character, and it's the same with all of them. Starkiller's character isn't even that well developed. Like, the only reason most people like him is his badass with a lightsaber and force powers. That's probably it. He hasn't got particularly a massive character development, and is not particularly a massive and interesting character. Like, and if they brought him back in, like, a film or a TV show instead of a fighting game, it would be easier to fill in a character and do story and to make the person feel like a person. And to be honest, they're doing a Darth Vader comic right now. They're doing a Darth Vader comic set around, like, between New Hope and Empire, I think. I don't know. It's just around. It's there. It's around. It's somewhere. It's basically a Darth Vader comic. I'm just thinking, like, I've heard nothing but good things about this comic that Marvel have done. So I'm thinking, like, could we get something similar for Starkiller or maybe Jade, and or maybe both of them, and call it like Hands of the Empire or something, and like, just do something with that. But I'm thinking then, and it's not tied to Rebels, it's not tied to the movies. They could go totally overboard with it. I mean, for God's sake, they could have Death Troopers in the thing. Like, they could flip in, have them go up against Death Troopers. For, like, what? Don't look at me like that. They could. If it's in its own contained comic book, they could bring Death Troopers back and have them go up against Death Troopers. They could, they could have them flipping go up against, I don't know. They could create new Jedi or new assailants for them to fight. Like, they could do so much more without it being tied to anything. So, I'd like to see him in something. I'd like to see all of them in something. Mara Jade, Hand of the Emperor, she's an impressive duelist. Like, she turns from the Empire to become a rebel, and she's an interesting character. She's done some cool things. And yeah, again, apologies about the poor quality picture, but can't be helped. But just I just feel like if these characters fade away, it's going to be such a waste of potential, because you have these characters that could have really been something if LucasArts had have had time to develop them. And to be honest, there were rumors flying around about another Force Unleashed game. I think it's never been confirmed, and it's never going to be confirmed, unfortunately, because I don't think Disney want to go down the route of dark, which Galen Marek, if was done interestingly, could be dark, could be very dark indeed. Like, I mean, does this look like a guy who lends himself to a cheery, nice book that's aimed at children? Does he? Because I don't think so. I think he is more something you could aim at teenagers or adults. Like, and I'm sorry, but with Death Troopers and all that going out, there's not really anything left for the adults to, nothing really left for the adults or teenagers other than the films. And I haven't really read the Darth Vader comic. I've heard good things about it, and it's Marvel, so I'm sure it's pretty good, and I might pick it up at some point and read it, but I honestly am probably not going to, being that much invested in it, because Vader's a meh character with me. I've always been more of a fan of Starkiller. And I don't know, if somebody told me, Josh, you got to read this comic. There's a cameo in it from Starkiller. Then I'd pick every single issue of the thing up and read it all in order. Then get to a bit where there's a cameo, and then look for any links like, oh, see him again in blah de blah de blah. Like, I'd do that, but you've got to think, Disney. Like, the characters you're throwing out, you're alienating a lot of people. Because, I'm more concerned about these characters here, but this character here and the characters connected to Mara Jade, you're gonna alienate a lot of people. Like, a lot of the people who like the Dark Forces games and the stuff that was set after Episode 6, and some stuff that was set like in Starkiller's era, you're gonna irritate a lot of people removing that. Taking that out, you're gonna irritate a lot, and I mean a lot of people. Like, there's a lot of Star Wars fans that really just enjoyed this kind of stuff more than the movies. I mean, the Force Unleashed games were a blast for me. I had more fun playing through them than I did watching the prequels. Like, I'm being honest, the prequels, Revenge of the Sith is alright, but, the other two suck. And I had more fun playing through those games than I did the prequels, and it was fun, the mission where you got to beat the hell up of Darth Maul. That mission was fun. Chopping Darth Maul up, It's just like, I honestly, I don't want to see characters that could have been so much more go down the chute. Because, you know, if you're a writer, you write a character at first, and you think, okay, the initial characters, you know, that was alright. Sequel, you build more on the characters in there. And then you think, you know what, I've really done nothing much with them in this. And then, like, you know, you try and you bring them over into a new form of media. And you say, you know what, I'm going to go all out. I'm going to, like, do everything I want to do with these characters in this form of media from now on. Because I can develop them so much more in this form of media than I could in the previous one. But, you know, I don't see that happening. I doubt that is probably ever going to happen the way it's going. Okay, just ignore my phone. Sorry. You know, just whatever. Because, I mean, one thing's for sure, like, you know, maybe Starkiller has reached where he's gonna be in terms of a character, but one thing's for sure, they could have done so much more with Juno. I mean, seeing characters like Rey and that, like, you know, Disney taking and making these strong female leads. I'm just thinking, like, you know, LucasArts, you need to take a page. You need to take a page, man, because, like, most of the female characters in Force Unleashed are just, they're just there. They don't do anything. I mean, like, you know, they're leveling the bar. You know, I'm just thinking, like, you know, what the hell is, I'm thinking about it now, what the hell is Juno even doing in this ship when Starkiller is, like, fighting? Is she just, like, playing chess with Proxy or something? I don't know. Like, you know, I just, you know, even maybe if they showed, you know, she does important work behind the scenes, like keeping the Rogue Shadow running, like doing her job, like, you know, actually showing that would make the character a bit more appreciated. Like, you know, you just feel like at the moment, like, okay, Starkiller goes does his thing, she goes take a kip for half an hour. Then, like, wakes up when her transponder's going, like, with Starkiller, like, you know, where the hell are you? I need a pickup. Like, you know, you're just like, you don't get the feel that that character really had much development. You know, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if that bit in Death Star mission, I wouldn't be surprised if that was just thrown in there for shits and giggles. I'm gonna be honest, like, you know, the developers, I wouldn't be surprised if they were drunk when they writ that bit in the script and they're like, you know what, you know, forget everything we've done with these two characters. Let's just make it out like they've had feelings for each other for like the entire game. Let's just forget everything else. Let's just do that. And, you know, I just, you know, it would benefit so much more from being in a form of media other than the type of game Force Unleashed was. Because really, I'm complaining about the way the characters were developed, but in a kind of game like Force Unleashed, you don't really have much time for story development. It's mostly just bam, 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 cutting through waves of enemies, cutting through waves of enemies, looking like a total badass. Like, you know, that's the whole purpose of those games. Stories in those games, other than stuff like even God of War, like, the story was pretty mediocre. Like, you know, and to us, and just, you know, they could do so much more with this. And, like, you know, that's why everybody was disappointed with the Force Unleashed comic that came out accompanying the game, because everybody thought, oh, okay, there's going to be extra content in the comic that isn't in the game, right? Whereas really, all the comic was just a comic version of the game. So if you read the comic, you didn't even need to go buy the game, because you know the story. And, like, there's no multiplayer to the game, so what's the point in buying it? You've read it, you know the story, it's pointless now. So, like, you know, it's just I just think Disney, they need to slowly. They've started bringing back KOTOR as well. They've started bringing back KOTOR. It's suggested they brought back Darth Traya, because everybody seems to think she's the one in the Sith Holocron at the minute. The Revan and that, there's rumours that Revan was supposed to be brought back in Clone Wars. So I don't know if Disney are going to go ahead and bring Revan back. I think everybody would love them if they brought Revan back. As long as they do Revan right. This, again, Revan's another one of those characters, if you get him wrong, there will be hell to pay off a lot of people. Like, you know, see, the thing is, when they're playing with characters like Starkiller and Mara Jade, and, like, you know, characters that a lot of fans like, you start changing them, you start doing things with them that are different, people are gonna think, hang on, I don't like where you're going with this character. Like, you know, this isn't the character that, like, you know, Lucas did. This isn't the direction Lucas was taking them. And as a consequence, I don't like it because that's not the way that character's supposed to be. Like, for example, Starkiller, he's a hero, but he's always, for me, been a Sith. You know, as Vader says, if you wish to play it being a Jedi, so be it. Because that whenever he has blue lightsabers and he's pretending to be a Jedi, that's all he's being. He's pretending. Because he's a Sith, or a grey Jedi at the very least. Like, you know, I just... I'm gonna stop ranting now. I'm gonna shut up and, you know, leave you to think about what I've said. And, you know, let me know what you think in the comments. You know, did I have any good points in this video? Is this video totally pointless? Like, you know, is there stuff I need to work on? And, like, you know, just give me feedback on this, guys, please. That's all I'm asking for.